Welcome to Global English Podcast. I'm Maya, and I'm here with Sarah. Today we're sharing a travel story that many of you can probably relate to, missing a train connection.
Oh my goodness, yes. And trust me, this story still gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
Sarah's going to tell us about her experience traveling through Europe, and we'll learn some essential phrases for when things go wrong with train travel. So, Sarah, set the scene for us.
Okay, so picture this. I'm in Milan, Italy, heading to Zurich, Switzerland. I had this perfectly planned journey with a connecting train in Como. I booked the tickets online. Everything looked great. I had exactly 20 minutes between trains.
Before we dive into Sarah's story, let me quickly explain how train connections work in Europe for those who might be unfamiliar. European train systems are generally very efficient and well connected, but they operate on precise schedules. When you book a journey with connections, you're essentially booking multiple train tickets that depend on each other. Missing one connection can affect your entire travel plan.
Exactly, Maya. And when you're traveling with heavy luggage like I was, every minute counts. Those 20 minutes seemed reasonable when I was sitting at my computer in Milan booking the tickets online. But in reality, I hadn't considered platform distances, potential delays, or just the physical challenge of moving quickly through a busy train station with two enormous suitcases.
20 minutes sounds tight.
It was, but I thought, no problem, it's the same station. How hard can it be? Plus, I had two big suitcases because I was moving apartments. So I'm on the first train from Milan, checking my phone, feeling pretty confident.
Uh-oh, I can sense where this is going.
Exactly. About 30 minutes before we're supposed to arrive, there's an announcement in Italian. I don't speak Italian, but I hear ritardo, which sounds like retard in English, so I'm thinking delay.
Good guess. Ritardo does mean delay in Italian.
So I ask the person next to me in English, and she says, 5-minute delay, no problem. I'm thinking, okay, 15 minutes to catch my connection, still doable. But then another announcement, 10 minutes, then 15. Then 25 minutes delayed.
This brings up an important point about traveling in non-English speaking countries. Train announcements are usually made in the local language first, sometimes followed by English in major stations, but not always. Learning a few key words in the local language can be really helpful, like ritardo for delay in Italian or Verspätung in German.
You know what made it worse, Maya? I started doing the math in my head. 20 minutes connection time minus 5 minutes delay equals 15 minutes. Then minus 10 minutes equals 10 minutes. But that's cutting it really close when you have to get off one train, navigate the station, find the right platform, and get on another train. I was getting more anxious with every announcement.
Oh no, the delay kept getting worse.
Maya, at this point, I'm starting to panic. I'm checking the train app on my phone, trying to see if there's a later connection to Zurich. My heart is beating so fast. And then we finally arrive in Como, and there's another announcement about platform changes.
Platform changes are the worst when you're in a hurry.
So instead of platform 3, my connection is now leaving from platform 7. I grab my two massive suitcases and I'm running, well, trying to run, through this Italian train station. People are staring at me like I'm crazy, I'm sweating, dragging these bags, and I can hear the train horn in the distance.
And Italian train stations can be quite large and confusing, especially for first-time visitors. The platform numbers are not always clearly marked, and sometimes they change at the last minute, which is exactly what happened to you. Oh my goodness, this sounds like a movie scene.
I get to platform 7, and I see the back of the train pulling away. I literally missed it by maybe 2 minutes. I'm standing there, completely exhausted, with my luggage, watching my train disappear. I wanted to cry.
That must have been so frustrating. But this is exactly when you need those key English phrases for travel emergencies. What did you do next?
Maya, in that moment, I had so many thoughts running through my head. What if I can't get to Zurich today? What if my ticket isn't valid? How much will a new ticket cost? Will I have to spend the night in Como? It's amazing how quickly your mind can spiral when you're in a stressful travel situation, especially in a foreign country where you don't speak the language fluently. I had to find help. I looked around and saw an information desk with a railway employee. I walked over, still catching my breath, and I said, "Excuse me, can you help me, please?" That's always a good way to start.
That's such a normal reaction, Sarah. When we're stressed and in unfamiliar situations, it's natural for our minds to imagine worst-case scenarios. But this is exactly when having some key English phrases ready can help you feel more confident and in control. It's like having a toolkit for emergency situations. That's such an important lesson for our listeners. When you're in a panic, it's easy to rush your words or forget to be polite. But taking a moment to speak clearly and politely often gets you much better help. Railway employees deal with stressed passengers all day, so approaching them with respect makes a huge difference. Perfect. Can you help me, please? Is polite and gets attention quickly.
The guy spoke good English, thank goodness. I explained my train was delayed and I missed my connection to Zurich. He nodded and asked to see my ticket. Then I asked the most important question. Is this ticket still valid?
That's crucial. When you miss a connection due to delays, you want to know if your original ticket is still good.
Exactly. And then I asked, do I need to buy a new ticket? Because honestly, Maya, I was worried about the cost. Train tickets in Europe can be expensive, especially last-minute ones.
All right, that's a very practical concern. What did he tell you?
He was really understanding. He said, no, because your first train was delayed, your ticket is still valid for the next train to Zurich. What a relief. Then I asked, what's the next train to Zurich and which platform does it leave from? And you know what, Maya? This is where understanding passenger rights becomes so important. In Europe, if your first train is delayed and causes you to miss a connection, the railway company has a responsibility to help you reach your destination. But you need to know how to ask for this help in English, which is why these phrases are so crucial.
Those are essential questions. You got all the key information you needed.
He told me the next train was in an hour and 15 minutes from platform 4. I also asked, how long is the delay, just to be sure I understood the situation. By the time I got on that second train, I was exhausted, but so relieved.
I can imagine, but you handled it really well. You stayed calm, used polite English, and asked all the right questions. That's exactly what our listeners should do in similar situations.
You know what? Looking back, even though it was stressful, I'm actually proud of how I handled it. I communicated clearly in English, I stayed polite even when I was panicking inside, and I got the help I needed.
That's a great attitude. Now, let's recap those essential travel phrases for our listeners. These are expressions you really need to know when traveling by train in English-speaking countries.
Yes, let's go through them.
Before we go through the phrases, let me add a few more useful expressions for train travel emergencies. You might also need to ask, where is the customer service desk? Or, can I get a refund if there's no other train today? These show you're thinking ahead and considering your options. My train was delayed. This explains why you missed your connection. It's not your fault, it was the train's fault. Very important distinction when asking for help.
Right. And then I missed my connection. Connection means the train you need to transfer to. It's a connecting train that takes you to your final destination.
You can also vary that phrase depending on your situation. Instead of my train was delayed, you might say my train was canceled if that's what happened, or my train broke down if there was a mechanical problem. The key is to explain that the problem wasn't your fault.
And for connections, you might also hear other terms. Some people say transfer instead of connection. You could say, I missed my transfer, or I need to make a transfer to Paris. It's the same meaning, changing from one train to another to reach your final destination.
Next, is this ticket still valid? Valid means the ticket is still good, still acceptable. You're asking if you can use the same ticket even though you missed the original train.
And do I need to buy a new ticket? This is about money. Do you need to pay again? In many cases, if the delay wasn't your fault, you don't need to pay extra.
Here's another useful phrase related to ticket validity. Can I use this ticket on a later train? This is especially important if you have a specific train ticket rather than a flexible one. Some tickets are only valid for specific departures, while others allow you to take any train on the same route within a certain time period.
Another phrase that can be really helpful is, what are my options? This is great when you're not sure what solutions are available. Maybe there's a bus service or a different route, or they can put you up in a hotel overnight. Asking about options shows you're flexible and willing to work with them to find a solution.
What's the next train to, and then your destination? This gets you the departure time for the next available train. Always include your destination city clearly.
Which platform does it leave from? Platform is where the train stops in the station. Each platform has a number, so you need to know where to go.
When asking about departure times, you can also be more specific. What time does the next train depart? Or is there a train later this evening? European trains often run until quite late, so there might be options you haven't considered. Also ask, what time does it arrive, to make sure you understand the full journey time.
Platform information is crucial, and sometimes the answer might be complicated. They might say, Platform 7, Track A, because some platforms have multiple tracks, or Platform 7 but check the departure board because it might change. In busy stations, platform changes are common, so always double-check before you board.
How long is the delay? This tells you exactly how many minutes or hours late the train is. It helps you plan your next steps.
And always start with, can you help me, please? It's polite and shows you respect the employee's time.
Now, let's repeat these key phrases slowly so you can practice. Remember, in stressful travel situations, speaking clearly and calmly will help you get better assistance. Let me add a few more essential phrases that didn't come up in Sarah's story but could be very useful. Is there a direct train means a train with no connections required. How many stops does this train make helps you understand if it's an express or local service. And do I need to reserve a seat is important for some long-distance trains.
Maya, should we do a quick role play for our listeners? I can be the railway employee, and you can be the passenger who just missed their connection. This way, listeners can hear how these phrases work in a real conversation.
Great idea. That will make it more practical for our listeners. Okay, so I'm a stressed passenger who just missed my connection train. Here we go. Excuse me, can you help me, please? My train was delayed.
Of course. How can I assist you today?
My train from Rome was delayed, and I missed my connection to Amsterdam. Is this ticket still valid?
Let me see your ticket, please. Yes, since your delay wasn't your fault, your ticket is still valid. You can take the next train to Amsterdam without paying extra.
That's such a relief. What's the next train to Amsterdam, and which platform does it leave from?
The next direct train to Amsterdam departs at 3:47 p.m. from platform 12. That's in about 45 minutes, which should give you plenty of time to get there and find a good seat.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And there you have it, listeners, a typical conversation at a train station information desk. Notice how Maya stayed calm, used polite language, and asked specific questions to get the information she needed. Perfect! Those phrases will definitely help you in train stations across Europe and other English-speaking countries.
That's all for today's episode of Global English Podcast. Remember, travel problems happen to everyone, but with the right English phrases and a calm attitude, you can handle any situation.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Global English Podcast for more real-life English stories. Thanks for listening and safe travels.